Okay, here we have to simplify. We have to remember the order of operations. Now, anytime you do these, I suggest the first thing you do when you get your homework or any quiz is write PEMDAS on here. For please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. Remember, this is 4 steps and not 6 like we probably learned before. So parentheses, well, we have this, so we rewrite it every time. 14 minus 9 is 5. It's going to be 5 squared times 3 minus 8 divided by 2. Okay, and now we have to do exponents, which we have right here. So this becomes 25 times 3 minus 8 divided by 2. Multiply and divide. Well, we're going to do this first, which is 75 minus 8 divided by 2. So now we have 75 minus 8, and we have to do the division again because we're still in step 3. So we have 75 minus 4, which equals 71. Number 2 asks us to simplify, so we're going to do the same thing. We don't have any parentheses, so we're going to go straight to exponents. So we're going to have 28. 4, remember, raised to the second power is not 4 times 2, but it's 4 times 4, which is 16, divided by 4. Okay. Now we have, our next step is division. What we have here, so we're going to have 28 plus the answer to this, which is 4. And that equals 32. Again, we're going to simplify. Here we just have adding and subtraction, so we're just going to simply go from left to right. But we're also combining like terms. And remember, we can't combine 6a plus 10. In order for you to combine like terms, you have to have the exact same variable. Now, the exact same variable also means that you don't have one. So you can combine this with this and this with this. Now, what I want you to keep in mind, though, is that this sign is going to dictate what we're going to do here, because the combination of 6a minus a, or 1a, is the same thing. 6a minus 1a is 5a, and that is an a, sorry. I'll tell you what, let me just rewrite it, 5a. Mark that out, and remember, this sign dictates what operation we're going to perform here after the second one. So now we are left with 10 plus 12, which is 22. So we write plus 22. Okay. Now we have to expand this expression. What that means is basically we can, whenever we have a number out here, we have to multiply inside. We have to expand this. We have to distribute that 5 throughout. So we multiply it by that and by that. Now remember, we can combine like terms when we add. We have to have the exact same variable and exponent. But to multiply, we can multiply darn near everything. So in this case, we just distribute this 5 throughout. So 5 times 3r. What you do is you just multiply the coefficients, which is 5 and 3, for 15. And you just keep the r. 5 times a negative 9 is going to be negative 45. And that's what we mean by expand. What is the value of the following expression when c equals 4? All we do is fill in a 4 for all the c's. So what we're going to have here is 6 times 4, put that in parentheses, plus 4 times 4, minus 3 times 4. We just fill those in. We're not saying, hey, this becomes 34. We're saying it's 3 times 4, and 6 times 4, and 4 times 4. We make sure we put our parentheses so we don't get confused. That way we can do all our parentheses first, come up with numbers, and then figure out what we got. Well, this, of course, is 24 plus 16 minus 12. Well, order of operations dictates that we go from left to right, so we're going to do this. 24 plus 16 is going to be 40 minus 12. And you need to rewrite it every time. Now, 40 minus 12 is, of course, 28. There's our answer. What is the value of the expression when a equals negative 3 and b equals 5? So we have to fill in two things here. Well, a is negative 3, so we have negative 3. And b is 5 squared, so we have 5. Negative 3 plus 5 squared. So now we have negative 3. If we do the exponent there, 5 times 5, or 5 raised to the second power, is 25. So now we've got a negative plus a positive. So we ask ourselves, like we did in the first unit, same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. Well, this is different signs, so we're going to subtract. We'll say 25 minus 3 equals 22. Take the sign of the farthest number, whichever one's farthest from 0, which is this one, for a positive 22. Number 7, we must simplify this. And remember, in order for us to combine like terms, they have to have the same variable. Well, I've got p's, nothings, and q's here. Well, what can I combine this with? I can combine it with that. I can't combine it with that, though. It looks the same, but it's a q, not a p. So what is 5p plus 1p, or just p? It's a 6p. So we're done with that guy and done with that guy. Remember, this sign right here is what's going to dictate whether or not we're going to add or subtract or not. So I'm left with 7 plus 2 for a positive 9. Mark those guys out. And then plus 5q, because I cannot add q to anything. I can multiply it. Remember, I can multiply it by anything. But I cannot add it. Cannot add it to anything here. Can't add it to the 2, the 7, the 5p, or just the p. I can't do that. So the answer is 6p plus 9 plus 5q. Now in this case we have to, let me rewrite this here, because when I space it out, it should be 13x plus 5x plus 24y plus 36y. Now on your paper it'll be out like this, the way it should be. What they want you to do is simplify first, so combine like terms, and then factor it. And what you're doing, simply enough, there is trying to find a number, the greatest common multiple that will go into those numbers to factor it out. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. First of all, let's simplify. Let's do the easy part first. We have 13x. What can I combine that with? I can combine it with this. I cannot combine it with 24y because it doesn't have the same variable. I can't combine it with a 36y because it's not the same variable either. So now I've got 18x, and I can combine these two guys right here. 36 plus 24y is a positive 60y. Now, what you're trying to find out are numbers that will go into both of these. Okay, numbers that will go into both of those to factor it out. So what you're going to have is some number here and some variable. Well, I'll just show you. What number will go into both of these? The highest number that will go into both of those looks to me like it's going to be 6. So we put a 6 on the outside. How many times will 6 go into 18x? It'll go into there 3x times, plus it'll go into here 60y, it'll go into there 10y times. And that's what they mean by factoring. They want to find, you take a two-termed or maybe even a three-termed problem like this, or expression, factor out the least common multiple, and now if I redid this, I would say 6 times 3x, and that would be 18x. I would say 6 times 10y would be 60y. So basically I'm like I say, I'm factoring those out. Now again, I'm going to simplify here. 14a goes with that, goes with this. So I got 14a plus 9a, which is 23a, minus 3a is going to be 20a. I'm done with that guy, done with that guy, and done with that guy. Now I've got negative 3b minus 5b. So I've got negative 3b minus 5b. All we have to worry about here, we don't have to. We know that the variable is going to be b, so you can go ahead and put that out here if you want to. And now you're going to say, hey, what is negative 3 minus 5? Okay, for a negative 8. 20a minus 8b. Now again, we have to simplify. So we're going to do parentheses first. And what this means is 1/2 times all of this. Alright, so what we need to do, if we can, we need to solve inside here as far as we can go and then just multiply that by 1/2. Well, inside the parentheses we've got 2 squared, which is 4, plus 6 times 1/2, which turns into 1/2 times 10. Well, we all know how to multiply by a fraction. We say 1 over 2 times 10, which is basically 1/2 times 10 over 1. And in this case, we multiply straight across. It'll give us 10 over 2, which is 5. Here again, we have to simplify, but we have parentheses. Well, let's see if we can combine anything in parentheses, and we cannot. Now, luckily, since we're just adding here, the parentheses don't matter. I could put those parentheses anywhere. If I'm just adding, and that's all I have to worry about is adding, I can add in any order I want to. It does not matter. So I can say, hey, what is 11x plus 14x? It's going to be 25x plus 17. And from there, I cannot further simplify it because I don't have the same variables. So anytime you're adding straight across, the parentheses do not matter. It doesn't matter where they go. Again, here I'm going to simplify as well. And it looks like I'm adding all the way across, so it doesn't matter what in what order I go. I'm going to combine like terms first, so I've got a 7s. What will that go with? It won't go with 4t. It won't go with that 4t, but it will go with this. And what that's saying is 7s plus a negative 3s. Or simply enough, 7s minus 3s. Now remember earlier we told you about doing integers and positive and negatives, and I told you this stuff wasn't going away. Well, this is what I'm talking about. So if you didn't understand that, you've really got to get on top of that, or this will be completely lost on you. So now we have 7s plus a negative 3s. And remember, we're just adding the coefficient here. So we're going to say same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. Well, are these same signs or are they different signs? They're different, so I'm going to say 7 minus 3 is 4. Take the sign of the farthest number. So I'm going to have a positive 4s. This is done, and this is done. So I've got 4s, and what I'm left with is this and this. 4t plus 4t is a positive 8t. First thing we have to do here is do the parentheses, but we cannot do that. So then we must factor here first, or distribute that 3 throughout. So we've got 12m plus 3p minus 3p. I can't combine 12m with anything, but what is 3p minus 3p? Well, it's 0. So those eliminate. Our answer is 12m. This next one, it says simplify and factor. So remember, if it says simplify, first you must simplify, combine like terms. Then you must find a number that goes into all of them. Then you have to find a number that goes into all of them. Okay? So, what will go with 6x? Well, I've got a 3x. It won't go into 15y and 12y, so I can just combine these two for 9x. What I'm left with is this. Isn't that going to be, what is that, 27y? And I can't combine any further. But I do need to factor. So ask yourself, what number will go into this and this? It looks like 9 will. So let's put 9 on the outside of our parentheses. Then ask yourselves, what is 9 into 9x? It's 1x, or just x, plus plus what was 9 into 27y is going to be 3y. We're going to, for number 15, we're going to evaluate when A equals 4 and B equals -3. I'm going to let you guys do that one. I'm going to let you guys do number 16 as well. And I am going to do 17 because this is 18 over P minus 4Q. And I just wanted to make sure you understood that. So this would be 18 over, what does P stand for? It's 6 minus 4 times 4. Now I've got 3 minus 16. I don't like these. Remember, I don't like 3 minus 16, so I'm going to keep, change, and flip. Then I'm going to say same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. Well, this is different signs, so I'm going to subtract, take the sign of the farthest number, then I'll be exact, -13.